not an open dialogue or discussion, an opportunity for the board to hear from their stakeholders. Items brought to the attention of the board during this time will be taken under consideration for future response or action. Responses will come either at a future meeting or through the appropriate staff member. Be sure you've entered your name and contact information if you have not, so we can reach out to you. And as a reminder, under state and federal privacy laws, we cannot entertain comments or questions about specific school personnel or students. And we have public comment.
Do we have any updates on band yet?
I can't address that. Soon is my answer,
Okay.
pending some legal issues, but I would expect an update very, very soon. I had hoped to have one tonight, but soon. I'll go to you next. Kate, you wanna go first?
Oh, I just wanted to thank the board again for their support for the FCCLA students and their attendance at state conference. I know that's why we missed your meeting last month, but it was very successful. You know, as some of you know, we're there, and I'm sure you read the details in the post that we had on the school website. But it was a really great opportunity for our kids. Margaretville had its best overall showing that we've had in years. Like, we got a lot of compliments on our students, on their dress, on their manners, on their professionalism, and it was an incredible joy and privilege to have been able to bring them. And I just wanted to thank you guys. I know it costs a lot with busing and the covering chaperones and things like that, and so we appreciate that support very, very much.
And so I'm going to mention it later, but I just wanna remind everybody as part of that, I know it's not my time to speak, but, Lillian was elected New York State FCCLA president for next year, so bravo. And the board itself was very honored to be given an award from FCCLA for our support of our FCCLA students, which was lovely and wonderful and very, very kind.
And with the entire FACS curriculum.
Yep, and it was lovely and kind, and we appreciate it very, very much, and I got to bring the, know that we do that because we believe in the students and we believe in that curriculum. So we appreciate it, but it's, we do it because we believe in you. Kudos to you. Go ahead.
So I just have a question about, in the article last week in the paper about the $246,000 for the libraries.
Yeah.
Could you explain that a little bit more?
Well, so let me be very clear, that is not part of a school budget.
Okay, cause a lot of people think that it
I
is.
understand that, but
Okay.
it's two completely different items. So, New York State Ed Law allows libraries to go out on a school budget, and school collects the taxes and gives them to the library. But that is the only connection that they are on the ballot, and tax collection is done through the school. The amount and why and how comes completely from the library. So I happen to know there are 3 info sessions coming up. I urge you, one is on Saturday, I don't have the other dates in front of me, one is at the end of April.
Yeah.
Both of those are at Fairview, and then there's one at Ski in
Yeah.
May. So any questions about libraries, the hows, the whys, the whatever, I'm gonna urge you to attend one of those sessions and ask them.
Is this the first time this has happened?
In here,
Right.
in
Okay.
this here. So I'm going to answer this question, then I wanna stop, because I'm worried about the conflict of interest, but, the local libraries belong to the 4-county library system, which is 43 libraries, and 37 of those 43 libraries are kept open by taxes. So while it is quasi unusual here, it is not unusual for libraries in the state of New York. It's how most libraries are funded. And in fact, Bobina just went on a library vote. But the hows and whys and whatevers of that vote has absolutely nothing to do with this board or this institution, other than New York State Ed Law says if they present us with a petition, we have to include them on our ballot. We are just a facilitator.
Cause the Roxbury Library, they're pretty much on their own, they get a small amount from the town.
Right, so first of all, Roxbury is different because it's an association, not a public library.
Okay.
So they would have to become a public library to even go out for a vote, because it's an association library, not a public library.
Wow. What makes it a public library?
It's how you got a charter. So technically, Roxbury is run by the people who are members of the Roxbury Library. It's an association library run by its members as opposed to public, and it's how they got the charter, and truthfully, in Margaretville, they got the charter in like 1973, I don't have a clue why they did what they did.
Wow.
I couldn't answer that no matter what forum we were in, but just be very clear. While I happen to work over there and be on the board here, they are very, very distinct.
I didn't think that, Doris.
No, I just mean, you know, like if people are confused, and I think especially because I'm in both places, that
Right,
there's,
they're angered because it's a lot of money, and they're thinking that they're gonna be paying more taxes, you know, on libraries that probably should be self-sufficient themselves.
no library is
No
self-sufficient.
library is self-sufficient,
Yeah.
and they're too important to our community, I think.
Well,
so.
I mean, that's why they're called a public library, because in the vast majority of places, they are supported by either a direct public vote, or it's part of the town or county budget. And we, you know, libraries around here have scrabbled together an existence for 50 years, and we're running out of time.
Well,
That's my spiel on libraries. It really isn't here, but that's it. So, but if you wanna know the details of why, Jerry Mead, who's the president of the library board, is doing those 3 presentations. And he will be doing the presentation in Fleischman's as well. Okay, anybody else? Nope, okay, can we please swear in our 2 weeks? Oh, no,
Not yet.
superintendent, sorry, I forgot you. I was
No, not
excited.
yet. You were excited.
Maybe a taller chair.
I know. So I just have a strategic plan update. So May 12th May 12th at 5 o'clock is our public hearing for our budget vote. And immediately after that, we're gonna have a strategic plan update. So we're combining those two. No.
Or not.
Did I say May 12th?
Yes, you
I'm so sorry, I meant to say May 5th,
Okay.
because we changed the date.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you're saying the strategic plan meeting is May?
I'm gonna start all over. May 5th is our budget hearing, and after that will be our strategic planning update. Sorry, the original date was the 12th, we had to change it. So May 5th, budget and, strategic plan
Right,
update.
5 p.m. she
At
starts.
5.
Right,
Yes,
they'll start, they'll do the
Usually
budget.
the budget hearing doesn't take very long, so we've allotted a couple of hours. It probably won't be a couple of hours, but that's an opportunity for people to come and see, finalize budget, and then see where we're headed with the strategic plan. I think that's all I wanna say right now. Some other stuff I'll share when we go over the budget in just a moment. Those are 2 really important things.
I don't know if it was on the website or somewhere, but somewhere it does say May 12th still.
I took it off.
You took it off?
I did.
After our meeting?
Yes.
Okay, because I saw it
Have you
and I'm
checked
like.
it since then? 'Cause I
said fine.
Yesterday. Yeah, I
Yes,
did
okay.
take it off. Thank you.
It was the multi-day.
It was, yes, there was a lot of things that came in, yeah.
Okay, anything else? No, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay, Board of Education, would you like to say anything? Anybody have anything?
Well, yes, I do. As a matter of fact, we had I think, a very productive communication committee meeting.
Right, we have communications
That'll
coming up.
come up later.
Well, then I'll bring it up then.
Good point.
Okay.
Any other,
Did I just say? Oh, sorry. Never mind. Yeah, you're next. Okay.
do I have anything else from my board? No, and I was going to mention the FCCLA award, but you have already, I
Oh, no,
moved it,
sorry.
no, I wanted to move it up so that it was part of what you did. So, I just,
Right.
kudos again, thank you very much.
Well, sort of the elephant in the room is that Doris has been
Oh.
recognized
Citizen of the year.
as a spectacular board president and board member, both in the Mountain Eagle and this organization that I don't remember.
Yes, Catskill Area School Administrator Association, something like
So
that.
she's honored and we're honored.
Thank you very much. You're very kind of all of us. Thank you very much. I was shocked, and I am honored. Okay, now,
Now it's your turn.
now can we swear in our ex officio
Do
members?
you want Alana
Yeah,
to speak
no, because
first?
they would like to speak, so why
Okay.
don't we swear them in first?
Okay.
We'll make them really, really official. you, so you're gonna do them separately, Lily.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So-
will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of ex officio student board member according to my best ability.
I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the student ex officio board member according to the best of my ability.
We are delighted to have you.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to what you have to add to our board.
Now, do we have any tasks we can assign?
I don't know, but we'll do it before next month.
We need you to.
But I think as part of the orientation to find out, I'm hoping one will want to be on the policy committee, and I'm hoping one will want to be on the communications committee.
No pressure.
So,
Yeah.
just think about it.
Yes, so, and I'll reach out in the next week or so and try to set up a time to get together with, Mrs. Holden and Mrs. Osterhout and sort of talk about some, and Alani, some, orientation. So we'll set something up. All right, now, would any of my three ex officio board members like to talk? You have anything you'd like to share with us?
I just wanted to say that I'm really proud of them and excited for you guys. Like, this is awesome, and you guys should be really proud of yourselves. And we have a trip to Hamilton for the music program coming up soon.
Oh, nice.
And yeah.
Hamilton College?
No,
Hamilton
Hamilton,
musical.
the musical in Broadway.
Okay, oh, cool, oh,
Yeah.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to like Hamilton, New York. Wow, that's great. So is that like your student music senate?
No, so in chorus,
Mhm.
if you're part of the chorus, it was promised us that like we would have,
Okay, so it's a chorus trip, great,
yeah.
fantastic. Very good.
It serves as a history lesson too.
Yeah.
You should see if it fits in like, you know, when you use certificate of civic readiness,
Yeah.
maybe there's one you can
You're
fill in
right.
there.
That's true.
Double dip a little. Mackenzie or Lillian, do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
So, I know we did address a little bit of the band stuff at the beginning, but I was asked by a student who was in the high school band originally if they got enough people from the high school and possibly 8th grade if they were allowed to play at Memorial Day.
I don't have an answer to that, unfortunately Mrs. Holden isn't there, but I will make sure that request gets to Mrs. Holden and the music department. Got it.
I have an update from the Student Senate. Today we met and we decided we are going to plan a presentation for the next board meeting regarding widespread feedback from students on a dress code policy
Okay.
that they would like to see change in. We're hoping to bring some students from the general population to speak on it and speak on it ourselves as well and represent them to the best of our ability.
Do you want time on the agenda to do that?
Yes, I think we were planning on,
Just shoot me an email to
Okay.
remind me to put it on the agenda, okay?
and I'll CC, Miss Kier and Miss Wells.
That's great, just so I
And
can
Ms.
put it with,
Huber, please.
Oh, yep,
just so we can make sure it's on, it doesn't get forgotten on the agenda.
Yeah.
thank you.
Can I just jump ahead and say, is there, I'm not married to the, so this is not, I'm not, but is there a piece of the dress code or is it the entire dress code they're struggling?
It's a small piece of the dress code.
Okay, are we talking about like
And
half?
if you could,
Yeah.
if you could possibly share that with Alani soon, the policy committee meeting is meeting on the dress code next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So,
Cool.
anything you could bring to that would be
Maybe
good.
they could come.
Yeah, why don't you? Anybody, I mean, anybody can come to
So,
that.
we,
What time is it?
3:15,
3:15, and is it in
Tuesday,
here?
next Tuesday, Mrs. Holden's office.
Miss
It's
Holden's
in the
office.
boardroom, yeah, upstairs.
So yes, just remind me so we make sure that it gets on the agenda and they have time.
'Cause since the dress code is part of the code of conduct, which is large and has to be approved every year, we've been working on it for a while, and we have been over the dress code, but I'd love to hear what they have to say, so.
Yeah.
Is there anything specific I should bring? We were going to put together a presentation, possibly a petition, anything else that?
Just ideas
Yeah,
would be the
I
main
think
thing.
for the committee piece, just bring your ideas, your thoughts, so they can sort of evaluate the, as part of their process, and then, yes, plan a presentation's fine for next time.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
great,
Great, thank you.
terrific. But yeah, just send the email so we make sure it gets included. Okay, ladies finished, thank you very much, that was great. Policy committee,
Oh, well,
speaking of,
actually, that is primarily what we've been doing, is reviewing the code of conduct for next year. Because that is one of those things that does have to be approved, and if we make any changes, we actually have to have a public
Public hearing,
hearing
right.
about it as well, which we are making changes, so we will be having a public hearing.
right, it's one of those policies we can't just bring to the board table. and
Right,
change.
it has to be,
There's a
has to be
process.
a whole process, so that's why it does take some time to do that. And as I said, we will be meeting next week to look over that.
When is that?
And they're
On Tuesday?
Tuesday at 3:15, yeah, April 21st. We had a request to look at policy 0115R, which unfortunately is not a policy, but is a regulation.
Which is part of the policy.
It's part of our policy manual, but it is a regulation. And I'd love to remind the board that we set policy, but administrators set regulations. We can approve them, which we're gonna do tonight. This one is one that had been reviewed years and years ago. I don't know exactly how long ago, but long before I was on the board. And there were two spots where there were time frames, where, this policy has to do with, DASA complaints. Dignity for all students. And how quickly one has to respond once something has been resolved, and, how quickly one has to begin an investigation. Those two places in that policy, for some reason it said set the time frame, and when it got reviewed, they hadn't set it, they just had approved it as it was.
I think
So-
we did said it didn't get.
It just didn't get in, that could be the case. Anyway, in working with Mrs. Holden, we set up, a time frame for notification 5 school days after completion of the investigation. All the parties involved would be notified of what was discovered. And that the investigation would begin within 2 days of, school days of it being reported, which Joyce said is the way things are done now. So, it's not like it's something new we're proposing, it's just putting in the regulation what we're already doing, I think.
So on district level, we're saying not later than 2 school days following receipt of the complaint, it was in the
Yes.
district level,
Yes.
okay. And you had a question on the school days, did you get it?
Yeah, well, it isn't really the school days part. I think when you say school days, that doesn't include vacation, holiday.
Right.
So that, and I know of an instance where actually vacation prolonged the process.
Right.
So, I'm fine keeping it at school days, but I don't think anybody should have to wait to know that, the issue is still being dealt with, still being investigated.
Well, no, that's not what that is, this is reporting when the thing is complete, when the investigation is fully complete.
Yes, that's my point, is that before it's fully completed, people should be informed that it isn't complete and we're still working on it. Because if you have to wait 6 weeks, which has happened, that's without with radio silence, that's not a good thing. That doesn't show care. So somewhere in here, I don't know if it's this spot, I suggest that we put a clause that says people get a status update maybe 7 to 10 days or something, if a resolution.
I don't know of an instance where that hasn't happened.
Well, I do,
Okay, so, let's,
or at
Let's-
least that's how it
But,
was reported.
Again,
Okay.
this is something that the policy committee does not really have the wherewithal to do. This is an administrative team thing, and if you guys wanna come up with some ideas, Joy will communicate.
No,
It's
yeah,
great
Joy-
having Joy on our committee, let me tell
Joy
you.
reached out
I
to me.
beg
Yes.
to differ with you, this policies are the board's domain, and
No,
we set, yes.
well, it's
We
because
do it
this
in
is a
conjunction
regulation,
with
yeah.
the
this is a
administration.
regulation, not a policy.
Here's my question, just to do one thing at a time, you did bring up one point, if we said school days, does summer vacation not count as a school day? So if you run into, if your investigation runs into July first, does that mean that that we don't have to have this notification till they come back in September? Cause I'm sure that's not, I guarantee you that's not what Joy intended when
Right,
she said school
right.
days.
Her main fear was if we said 5 days,
Right, it would hit
you
weekend.
have a 3-day
and
weekend and,
Right.
there's just not enough time to.
Right, I get that, so I did understand, I did understand the concern about summer vacation though, that it could be interpreted moving forward. I mean, could we put something that was like 5 days, not more than 15 calendar days or something?
Yeah, something like that,
Just- I mean, cause we said,
Okay, well, if you wanna postpone this, we can look at
Yeah.
it next week when we meet then. But if you have specific thoughts, send them to me, because I don't agree with most of you, so.
well, I mean, I
And
do
that's
think.
okay.
I do think in this particular spot, I think it's reasonable when we say school days, if we had to delay it a week for school vacation, I don't think that's the end of the world, but if it could be interpreted as not having to do it over summer vacation,
Right,
then
no,
there's
that's true.
a reasonable,
Yeah, no, that's-
we could indicate, but not more, in parens, but
Right.
not more than 15 calendar days or something like that, which would just mean we covered a week of
That
vacation.
would pretty much cover all Christmas
Yes,
break too,
but it would just
probably.
mean you couldn't go all the way, you couldn't finish an investigation July 4th and push, clearly nobody's doing it July 4th, I have no idea why I picked that day.
I think.
July 7th, I'm gonna pick July 7th, but you wouldn't have to you could not, she wouldn't do it anyway, but,
No, she will.
but we always set things with, we
Right.
don't know who is in that role,
Mm-hmm.
so you
Yeah.
couldn't go till
But
September
not more
4th.
than 15
Yeah.
calendar days.
What about if you,
unintentionally create
some Yeah. kind
of a
what about if you did an update? If you know that it's going to be longer, if you did an update to all concerned saying,
Just keep in
it's
mind, you're
still in the
setting
process.
regulations that then whoever's in that job is stuck with. So you want some degree of flexibility, and that's why I think the admin team needs to set these kind of things, cause they're the ones who have to do it.
Mhm.
Definitely strong input, I would say.
And there's a big portion of this that is guided by law,
Yeah, absolutely.
so.
Okay, we will look at
Okay.
it next week.
So do you want me to send you an email that just questions that one and questions whether we can just further
You can,
define
I'll
it?
remember that, I
Okay.
think,
I
we're
mean,
meeting soon enough that,
So, the two things they
and a
could
lot
look
of
at
people help
is
me remember.
Yeah.
just
I'm ready.
putting
I'm ready.
a limitation on calendar versus school days, just to cover Christmas, just to cover summer vacation. I think that's a reasonable.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the other one is potentially there should be an update at a certain number of days, 30 days. I mean, it's interesting because if you go to the district one, they have 30 days. And you have to give them, if it's ongoing past 30 days, you have to send them an update. That exists in the district, but not in the building level.
And it always kind of confused me why we have both, since
I-
we,
I actually tried to do some research on the difference between building
uh-huh.
and district level, and I couldn't come up with a good,
Except for safety plans, I don't see of any
Yeah.
particular reason to have that separated, but maybe we can look at that and see, maybe they can be
the one I read
effectively
said that,
combined.
district usually was more about allegations about a staff member as opposed to a student
Oh.
member. But that doesn't even really, cause we only have one building, usually it's because you're multiple buildings, so
Right,
the district level would rise to that. I don't know. I couldn't
I
find
guess
it.
it is not staff.
I just couldn't find a good whatever,
Right.
but,
I mean, it's probably one of those things, you know, this was written by NISBA, who
yep.
most of the districts they're writing for have multiple buildings, so.
But there is a section in the district level says that if additional time is needed to complete the investigation, the superintendent or board appointed investigator will provide parties with a written status report within 30 days of receipt of complaint. So,
So that actually does cover it.
Yeah.
but it's only in the
Like
district
district,
one,
not
you have to
the
copy it into the building level one, it doesn't exist in building level.
What's the
Well,
difference?
what's the difference?
Do you need to have?
She couldn't find it.
I couldn't give you a firm answer. I think in most districts, if it happens here, it's a building level complaint. But if it's about something that's happening more widespread, then it becomes district level, but we're only one building.
Right, we are the district.
We are the district, so I
So
couldn't,
we're covered.
I couldn't find
I
one.
think we sort of are covered, sounds like, but
Sounds
but
like
maybe
we get
the
rid of the
thing is
building level.
to somehow combine that wording so we don't necessarily have that separation of district. and
Yeah,
building.
cause I found it in the second,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, that
Yeah,
would
we'll look
cover
at
it
that,
for
we'll
me,
look at that
right?
from that
That's
point of
fine.
view.
But I just,
But an update is a good
I
idea.
mean,
Yeah.
gossip complaints are emotional
Right.
and hurtful and
Right.
all that, and people shouldn't be.
Right. Well, and as Joyce said, sometimes an investigation can be done in 2 days, and sometimes it takes
I
a
get
couple of
that.
months, you know,
Yeah.
to get down to the real bottom of it, so.
Did you have, Lonnie's had her hand up for
Yeah.
a long time.
I was
I'm
just
sorry.
saying, like, maybe we could do, like, I'll make sure for our next policy meeting, like, represent what you were saying. We should do it, like, I understand what both of you guys are saying, we should do it where there's an update, and we should just make sure that everybody's being notified, and in the case of like a long break, that it's
Yeah.
still being worked on, because if I had a DASA complaint, and, you know, I was waiting for a really long time, I'd be
Yeah.
pretty upset. So, we should do something where we have an update for like
Mhm.
extended breaks, like summer break, winter break.
Or even, you know,
We
if
could add
if
that
it's
to
one
the
that's gonna take 3 weeks, you know,
Yeah.
a weekend, you know,
Yeah.
you could update them and say, you
Yeah,
know,
or at
it's,
least-
we're doing it, but it's gonna take
Yeah,
longer
and
than
you can
it-
always do more, but,
Right.
Right,
okay, so we're gonna send it back to
Good.
committee
Yeah.
we'll
members.
look, and I will
You
send
need
that
to
on
feel
to Joy to look
supported.
at
Yeah.
and see.
Yes, that's right.
No, I know what you're
Okay, so we're sending it back, did you need something you needed to tell
I was
me?
just gonna say, the state has a district number for you and it has a building number
Right.
for you, that's why there's a district and a building.
But I couldn't
By
really,
law, but that's how the state, if it became an issue, that the state
So,
says.
so it would probably be better to keep both of those sections
Actually,
in the regulation,
When I
right?
think about it, yes, because when we have to do state reporting, we have to do district level and building level. Even
Okay.
if the information is all
Okay,
the
well then we'll
same.
copy that information.
yeah, I think you can just copy that
We're doing
clause
twice
and
the
just,
work. We
yeah.
do twice the work.
okay. So we're all,
Make it do it
And the report card
We do,
shows
it's
that.
so crazy.
You can put on district
Yeah.
and
Yes.
or building and
Yeah.
do the same information.
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
so we'll send that back, that was really, we're clearly fine with the 2 days that just needed to be updated, and I'm okay with 5 days and excluding school days, just if we could put some caveat so it didn't run into the summer. I don't really think anybody would do that, but.
Right, but we'll take another look at it.
Great.
Yeah.
Ken, did you get the 2 copies of these sample policies I sent you on the FMLA?
Yes, yes,
And that's going to committee,
yes.
okay? Communications committee is up.
You wanna go first?
So exciting. Is it all right? You run the group, but
Well, I have
but I'm the
things to say as
pushy
well.
one,
Right.
so, yeah.
So Andy has items to address?
Now, we were talking about, the fact, I don't remember who even brought it up, but maybe it was Jen, brought up the fact that an awful lot of the board members don't know a lot of the teachers and the staff, and vice versa. The teachers and the staff don't know who the heck's on this board. So what we would like to do is we're gonna start this at the beginning of the year, is do a breakfast that we actually host for the members of the staff and teachers, the administration, so they get to see who we are. Still has to be formed, you know, I've got all kinds of visions of grandeur, but what we would really like to really hold a breakfast for the teachers and the staff, just to say, one, thank you, two, we're really sorry about what you're gonna go through this year. Years can be difficult, and just let them realize that we're also here for them. So, that's what we're planning on doing in September.
So I will add, that's if the board agrees to do this.
That's right.
How's that?
Yes.
That is a good idea.
Yes.
And the idea, because it's late in the year, was that this would happen on the first day of school next year,
Mhm.
when you
During
have
the
like a conference day
Conference
or
days,
something.
we've got
Mhm.
two of those at the beginning.
And we stole this idea from Delaware Academy via
Yes.
Jen Amundsen.
Yes.
Said that's what they do, right?
Yep.
Good idea.
And then you have something else. to
So,
talk about.
I would like to know if the, committee meeting dates could be added to future business on our agenda here, so that everybody knows when committees meet.
Could somebody send those to me?
Yeah.
Cause I don't know when they are, so.
I mean, yeah, ours at least is not a regular one, but it's, you know,
Yeah.
at each
So if you
meeting we
send
set
them
the
to me
next
by
one, so.
email, at least I
But
can throw
yeah, I
them
can
on there.
include it.
We have one
Yes,
scheduled,
please.
I'll keep you copied.
Thank you.
Ours is June third,
I'm June second, I think, but
I'll
let
let
me just
you know.
check,
It's in
Uh,
June.
yeah.
Do you, yes, we can put it in future business, and so remind me at the end, June third? Oh, no, I didn't get to June yet.
We don't know.
No,
Okay,
that'll be
May.
next month. But I could always list them like, if they
Yeah,
know
so
the
we can-
dates,
yes,
I
they
can
can
just
say,
put a
Um,
little
here-
block there.
My other
but-
question was, I'm raising my hand, my other question was, do you want Beth to ask them to be put on the calendar on the website? Or you just want them announced?
Well, our committee would welcome it, I don't know about the others, but, you know, if somebody wants to come who has something to tell us.
I just wanted to,
Is the public allowed to attend them?
Mm-hmm.
Ours is June 2nd, I did add you to the invite.
that's the next, so there's not a May one.
June second, you said?
Yep.
At 4:00. So the other thing that we
Okay.
talked about was, the May election.
Mm-hmm.
And we hoped that, I realized that you can't put the ballot up on the website
Oh.
unless it's marked sample ballot
Oh,
or something, because somebody could do
Right.
something.
They could print it and they could.
Yeah, but you could put the information up, and I
So
think
you
that
can
would,
put a,
I have, yeah, I can do that.
She
We
can mark
do
it.
that when we post it in
yeah, she can mark it
the,
sample,
newspaper or something? Oh,
in the hallway.
in the library, or
Oh.
library,
cafeteria.
in the cafeteria, we post it.
and it says sample
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
So if that could be on there, that would be great, so that people know what they're voting for, and also see that the library thing is a separate thing. For this year, that would be important. And then, NISBA sent around an idea of doing an exit survey, and we talked about what would the purpose be for doing this.
We had a good
And
discussion.
it's not a scientific survey, but then the four of us decided that it's actually an interesting population, because these are people who actually bother to come to the school and vote.
Right.
So, we went through the questions that NISBA recommended and chose 4, which I sent you. And basically what, the 4 questions dealt with is where did you get information about the budget? And where do you prefer to get information? How would you rate the quality of education at Margaretville Central School? And would you add was there anything you would like to add to the educational experience? 3 was how would you rate the quality of the leadership of this Board of Education? And then finally, do you have children in Margaretville Central School? Because that would be interesting to know what percentage. So, is it something we wanna do?
They seem like good questions, yeah.
Yeah,
And then how do we do it?
Particularly to find out how people
I mean, Melissa,
learn about the budget, because you know, it's a challenge to get the information.
I think you would have to
So-
put it out, I don't know that you can have it right where people are casting their ballots.
Well, Melissa and I kinda had an idea, to like put it on the way out with
Yes.
a box next to it.
Right.
And just letting people know that there is a survey if they would like to fill it out on their way out, cause you don't wanna get all
Right.
confused.
Right.
You want them
Yes.
to vote
It has to
first.
be
Yes.
separate.
Yeah.
Right. It's an
Um,
exit survey, really.
Yeah.
and then that's how, I mean, I could put up a big sign, you know, on the way out, that's what we were thinking.
So,
when someone takes it home with them and they wanna bring it back.
They can bring it back and drop it off, yeah.
From office with booze or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Can we do the survey online? That might make things a little easier.
Well, we wanna see who comes and votes,
Yeah, that's
it's
the only
really
thing
a
is that,
survey of the voters.
yeah,
yeah,
specifically people who come to the school and vote. So you could fill it out online and just never vote.
So what about people that are bringing, like sending their ballots in, like the mail-in ballots?
Are they?
Yeah, there are people
Yes.
who do
Okay.
that.
I have a quick question. If we're doing an exit survey for the public, do you think we should also do an optional exit survey maybe for the students?
So
Or do
I
you
think
think that would make things?
Yeah, so I think,
Oh, okay.
here's what I'm gonna say. So I think in terms of what you're saying, so what Nisba's saying is, you know, we do surveys to students that don't go to most people. We do surveys for different pockets. And I think the question was, I think, but my understanding of reading some of the NISBA information was, it was a question about who are your voters? Are people voting because they're really happy? Are people voting because they're really unhappy? Are people voting because?
They always vote.
Right, I think it's really a very tiny snapshot, and that's why, you know, Mr. Osterwile was like, well, this is not scientific. We understand this is not a normal sampling. I think this is just a very tiny snapshot of a very specific group of people.
Okay.
I think is the answer. As to mail-in people, I'm just going to opine this on my own. If we did this again next year, I think we would be prepared to include mail-in voters. I think this year, we're not there yet. That this is an idea that was floated by NISBA, it's a kind of a trial in a very small sampling in a very small way. That just, cause I don't know how you would manage it with your mail-in voters.
Because I don't think you wanna mix the ballot and vote.
Correct.
no, I don't think you can.
So our,
Yeah, legally probably not.
yeah, so there's, you know, when we're talking about elections and ballots, there's a lot of legal pieces. And so I just don't think we're prepared for that. If this is something that after we do it this, I mean, you may find out 5 people fill it out and you don't think this is worth pursuing next year. If you find, you get a group of people who fill it out and you're interested, you know, that this is a way to gather that information, then next year we might think of a way to do that. Maybe that's gathering some mailing addresses and sending it to them separately, or I don't know what's allowed. I'm just saying, there might be ways to do it. I'm just not sure that we are geared up to do that in this very short timeline.
Cause I think there could be an aha moment where we get feedback that
Yeah.
shows where the best place for us to advertise or publish information.
Right.
Yeah,
That we
yeah,
are
I know.
unaware of, cause
Where are people getting
we
their?
are putting out ideas, but getting ideas back has a lot, great deal of value, so.
Yes, so I think if we look at this as, the goal is to really sample just the small people, and more importantly, we're just not geared up
Yeah.
to do
To
that.
start out that way.
Yes, to start out that way, but certainly if it's something that we find gives us some information, we would, I think, pursue next year how to make it a far better sampling of our voters. Is that a reasonable?
Yeah.
I have one comment. We said, do you have enough good information to help you make a decision about your vote? Would you consider changing that word from good to something else?
Or take it out.
Or just, do you have enough?
Or do you have enough
Information, yeah.
Without the word good.
Take out
The
the,
word good to me, just accurate, in-depth, good is just, it was sort
that
of,
was NISBA's, so.
I don't
I
like
don't-
it.
Blame
No,
the-
That's good.
Information, yeah,
I
I'm
think
okay
you're
with
right,
that.
good is irrelevant.
Yeah, it was just kind of this weird word that, as a reader, I went, well, I'm not sure, it's my, like, how do you make that, that's a value judgment on information,
Right.
Subjective.
right? And I'm like, well, what is good? Does it mean I have good, but I don't have it all? Well, what if I have some good my little overthinking brain went, how do I interpret?
You
What if
can
it
watch
makes me
it
upset and I don't
spin.
think it's
It's
good?
good, right? Well, yes,
But
exactly.
it is enough.
So
Okay.
that-
Should I take that out and send
Yeah.
you the Word document instead of
Yes.
the PDF?
Yes, please. I mean, you could just send me the Word and I can take it out, it's no big deal,
Okay.
yeah, whichever. Cause then I can then I can save it
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
Word documents,
well, if you're gonna be dealing with it,
thank you.
Mrs. Warner,
Yes, sir.
do we know what percentage of voters do mail-in ballots? Or what percentage do?
No,
Okay,
I don't off the top of my head.
because if we find that out, that'd be important, like knowing, you know.
Do you remember?
Well, I just did 52 absentee ballots, I got all the envelopes ready today, cause that's what I do.
But
Wow.
do they all come back?
Not all of them come back, and some of them, I get the addresses from the county, and some of the addresses come back undeliverable, but we have to mark them.
But it's a number we could look at.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we had more than
10%?
20 come back last year.
yeah, I think it was a very small number.
Okay.
Well, one thing you can think about, and for the future, I don't know for this year, but once they've been mailed back in, you know who's mailed them back. And we could, after the fact, send them a survey,
Yeah.
that's what
for
I
the
was
people who
thinking.
did vote.
I just wanna make sure that that's
But-
legal.
This-
Well,
We
'cause
know
it's-
who's voted.
I understand, but because of the,
Confidentiality of
does
the
that.
ballot.
I don't
You might
know,
not be
I
able
just
to
wanna
use
make
that.
sure that we don't,
Well, I have to post, legally, I have to post the names up in the cafeteria
Of
Of who voted.
the
of
voters?
the absentee voters, yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
Any mail-in voters, any absentee I have to have a list and I have to post
I
that.
just-
And that's
I
all we
just-
need is the names, we don't need to know how they voted.
No, we don't
need
wanna
to
know
their
that.
I
address.
don't know how they vote either,
Right.
because it's all,
It gets counted
Right.
do you have their
Yeah.
email addresses, is that always on? Oh.
I just want us to be careful, that we
Yeah.
don't do
Yeah.
anything that throws our election into,
well, we'll have time to.
yes, so
Yeah.
that's
And
what I'm
that's
saying,
the
we
way
have
we do
time
it,
to think
figure
about
it out.
that,
For the
I just wanna be very careful,
The Board of Elections can tell it that.
yes.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work this year, if nobody chooses to fill it out,
Then
then
we'll
you
know
we
it's
know
not
what we're
working.
doing.
There.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all we have to say.
Good.
Drill cold water.
Yes,
And
please.
Facilities Committee, I know you have a meeting coming up the end of this week.
Tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow?
Yep.
What's tomorrow's
A
date?
committee meeting?
16. Yeah, June meeting.
16, 26, Pat, what?
5 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay.
So no updates on that.
Okay, is there anything that anybody would like removed from the consent agenda? Then can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that one.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mrs. Osterhout, you're up.
That was fast. Okay, bear with me, we're gonna go through the whole thing, so, like I said last time, instead of doing budget workshops separate from the board meetings, we're doing it all inclusive so that folks who are here get the information, because, true story, one person shows up to our budget meetings, our budget workshops, since I've been here, and we love them dearly.
It's our only chance to see folks.
It is our only chance to see this culture.
And by the way, prior to Kurt, it used to be Mrs. Reither.
Yes, so, I don't know if you're ever hearing that. So, I'm gonna go through the whole thing and just bear with me. Okay, so we always start with our mission and vision, and this is timely because we just did a blueprint refresh. Our mission and vision is the same, and our mission is we partner with the school community to prepare all students for life in a world beyond school. And our vision is we are a leader in providing innovative, inclusive, and engaging learning experiences for our students, creating a sense of pride in our school community. And as we move through the presentation, I'll talk about some of the things that we're doing, and I'll also talk about some of the ways that we fund them, because right now, we are in a budget crunch, as many districts are. Every district is. I had cabinet yesterday, and for those of you who don't know, cabinet is when all 19 component school districts come together with our BOCES, and we just talk about budget, we talk about future planning, we talk about regionalization, that's the buzzword right now. And really all that means is how schools can work together to provide opportunities for students. Okay, so the process is you review a 5-year plan. Greg did an updated 5-year plan for us this year, And the 5-year plan basically tells us that we're gonna have to cut back, and we're gonna have to stop relying on our reserves and our fund balance. It's ongoing throughout the year, it changes, our budget is, I don't wanna say it's a living and breathing document, cause we adopt the budget, but there are things that come up sometimes. My first day on the job, the hot water heater went, and I had to spend a lot of money on a hot water heater, so those are examples of things that affect the budget. Changes with needs or additions to programming. So let me give you an example. If we get a student who has a need and we can't fulfill their need and we have an out-of-district placement, we have to send them to another school or another BOCES. That's something that those changes can happen throughout the year. Those are things that we don't necessarily budget for because we don't know they're gonna happen. Input from each department is considered. So for example, last year we got some new math curriculum, so that was something that we considered in our budget. Administrators talk and present their proposals as part of the process. As an admin team, and when I say admin team, I mean myself, the principal, Mr. Marks, and any department head. So think Mrs. Matheson in the cafeteria, think who used to be Beth Smith in the bus garage. We talk about things that they need in their departments. We meet to discuss requests and proposals and work on the entire budget as a team. And then there's a link to our budget calendar. Okay, review of the 5-year plan includes revenues, expenditures, reserves, and fund balance. Okay, so that's the first part. That's really just your informational session. And next is your administrative budget. Feel free to chime in, Greg, if you want to add anything. Okay, so this year we're looking at proposed admin budget, and I want you to notice something. This pie chart is really important. The largest part of any school district's budget should be program. That's opportunities for kids, that's teachers, that's classes, that's textbooks, materials, supplies, right? So program. Administration is 11% and capital, so think building, is 14%. So this year we're looking at an increase of about $240,000 or 18.43% in our administrative budget. And a lot of that is made up of benefits, TRS and ERS, which is retirement. So think of benefits and legacy costs, retirement costs, spending. Okay, so no changes to our administrative structure. And then, so just so you know, it includes a tax collector, our executive principal, our building admin for operations and student activities, that's Mr. Marks. CSE chair, the CSE chair is a TOSA position, so that's a teacher on special assignment. So that's actually a teacher position, that's in the teacher contract, that's why that's a teacher position. And then the secretary to the principal.
So that's going to full-time.
Yes, yes. As our needs have grown with special education, that has become a full-time position. Okay, so major changes to the administrative budget, that's this year, and that's continuation to next year, so there really hasn't been a change in CSE chair. We started that full-time this year, that's a need that will stay the same. The only thing we're looking at in changing this is we're looking actually right now for a new CSE chair, because Rose Davis, who's a CSE chair, is going back into the classroom to create some new programming for us. Why is she doing that? That's a cost factor. So we're bringing some programs back from BOCES because we believe that we can serve those students best in-house. So she's going back into the classroom to build some programs. This year we're building a program with her, it's elementary level, and we hope to continue to do that even next year. I have to tell you, the hardest part about bringing programs back is staffing, and we're seeing that across the district, across the component districts. We've been very lucky to have been able to maintain staffing. Our counterparts have not been so lucky, so we're just
It's not just staffing, but licensed,
Qualified,
certified.
yeah.
qualified, so
Many of our component districts have teachers and positions for which they are not certified to teach.
that is not the case here. Just wanted to put that out there.
Are you planning on bringing all of your BOCES students back, or just some of them?
No. And then we're also looking, so that's what I talk about, BOCES services, looking at reductions. We have quite a few students who are out of district placement, and BOCES can't even serve them, our BOCES. So for example, we have some students who go all the way to Sullivan County BOCES. That's a long distance. So we're bringing
For
those
little
students
kids.
back. Okay, and of course, benefits have increased. I would like to point out, last year, 10%, this year, 11%, we're looking at a potential 15% health insurance increase. That's a lot. I wanna say when I started, we were at about 28,000. They're predicting next year up to $36,000 for a family plan. That is a lot of money. Alright, let's look at capital. Okay, capital budget proposed at $2,023,532. That's up 3.9%. And that includes obviously staffing. We have actually gone down in staffing this year. We've had some retirees at the bus garage. We do have some substitutes in. I think we're looking at maybe collapsing some routes, Mr. Marks, if we can. So salaries, benefits, utilities expenses have been pretty high this year. We have some debt.
And you looked at your electric bill,
Yes.
everybody.
Debt service, and then capital outlay. We have not done capital outlay since we did our innovation lab. And the reason why we haven't done that is because, number one, the capital outlay is $100,000. You get back some aid money on that, you can't do much with $100,000 in the building. So, they are at the state level looking to, up that increase to about $250,000. They have not decided on that yet. That would be helpful, but we really don't have the money in the budget to do any more capital outlay projects. Capital outlay is different than capital project. Capital project is a big project for huge building improvement. Capital outlay is smaller projects that we can do in-house to upgrade some of our areas. So no change in, so supervisor, buildings and grounds, no changes in those areas. Okay, so major changes. Salaries, so we negotiated a contract last year. I'm in negotiations, actually, last year, we just signed the contract, so they got the raise, but we didn't have a new contract. We are working through the contract negotiations right now. And we are looking at increases in specifically across the board, but also to recruit bus drivers. That is probably the hardest thing right now that districts are facing. We have new equipment. We are looking at some buses. It's really important to note that the state has said, by 2035, we can only purchase electric buses. Do we hope that changes? Yes, but we're not sure that's going to change. So we do have in our budget the purchase of buses. We do have an electric bus that's coming that was purchased through a grant. We're trying to use grants as much as possible, not only for buses, but for other things. I'll talk a little bit more about some other things that we use grants for. So with that, we'll see debt service increase, and then of course, across the board, benefits increase. Benefits that we offer in our district are a nice way to recruit people. We have excellent health benefits, excellent retirement benefits, but they do cost us money.
I thought that you can't buy a non-electric bus after 2027, and by 2035,
Thank
you
you.
have to
Have to
have.
have the fleet.
Thank you, I
That's-
misspoke.
And so we got two smaller buses.
We're talking about buying two small.
This year.
And I don't know what the smaller electric bus price is. I just read an article. It said the average large bus, diesel bus is $160. If we had to buy an electric one, it's $432,000.
There were no small electric buses,
So-
at least there used to be.
Yeah, so that's why, I didn't have the number yet, but we need to understand, we're trying to load some of those buses so that we will need them when the price goes up. And, I'm sorry, I'm speaking out of turn, but
That's okay.
I did look at the waiver, because we talked about the waiver, and we're trying to save the waiver for when we really need it. But I actually pulled up the paperwork on that waiver, and they asked some very pointed questions. I'm not convinced every district's gonna get, but they wanna know, some of the things they ask is, what have you done to electrify? What steps have you taken? And so, if we are not taking these steps, there's a good chance we won't get that waiver.
Yes.
I know everybody seems to think they'll get that waiver, I'm not as convinced,
Neither am I.
because there were some very pointed questions. It wasn't just, hey, do you need a waiver? There were pointed questions about your finances, there were pointed questions about what you have already done in an attempt to meet the mandate, what are the roadblocks to those mandates, so, I think it's important that we are setting ourselves up for success.
Yes,
And
so I was
the
just gonna
state hasn't
say,
even addressed the fact that if voters don't approve
Correct.
these very expensive electric buses,
What happens next?
Right.
What's your recourse?
But it's coming up in the legislature.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
thinking about it.
They are.
So
Call
if we
your
can,
legislators.
if we can set us up over for the next year or two, my hope is that as this begins to move forward, we'll be in a good shape not to buy next year, maybe not even the year after.
Yep.
So that hopefully we will have come to some kind of, the legislature will have come to some kind of decision about how to manage this process.
And hopefully the technology will improve.
Exactly, yeah, that means.
And maybe that's gonna get us enough
Right.
electricity to actually charge one.
Yes.
So the key here is, because regardless of how you feel about electric buses, we're getting one, we
Right.
can collect the data.
Yes,
And when
but I
we
think
apply,
it's
and that's what you're saying,
important,
to
yes.
speak to your point, we can say, this is what we've done,
Yes. And this is the problem we have.
yes.
I just think it's important that we all understand, because somebody mentioned it last meeting, and I just don't think it's gonna be the blanket waiver that people think they're gonna get.
I agree.
I pulled the application for the waiver.
And I was
Yeah.
directed to wait on that, because we still have time, so I don't wanna put in for it before we even have any
Right.
data,
Well,
But you
and
know,
let's make,
huh?
When you knew I'd read it.
Yes. I know
but
you
we should be making moves in that general direction, maybe not for a whole fleet, but for
Right.
multiple electric buses that we can manage.
Yeah.
And, then maybe we'll have a better chance of getting that.
So once, I don't think I went over this, did I? I didn't wanna get ahead of myself. So decrease in program, 31,000 or 0.3% proposed is just over $10.5 million, and let's look at what that encompasses. So that's staffing and salaries. Some positions through attrition, as people have retired over the years, we haven't hired. We did lose a social worker. We are working with, I will share with you, we are working with Roxbury Central School on a grant, on one of many grants that we're working with, to share some mental health services. So we're trying to find ways that we can share with our community partners, and by community partners, I do mean sometimes other school districts. So we have mental health services that we'll be sharing with them, that's a grant we just found out about, I don't even know if we're supposed to talk about it. I think we're okay. And then salaries, benefits, programming, professional development, we have kept all of those things in the budget because they're important. Federal grants reduction has not been incorporated into the budget. So, one of the things I'm worried about as your superintendent is, Save Harmless, Foundation Aid, we are seeing, because we are losing enrollment, as are all of us across the districts, 19 component districts, everybody's, enrollment has gone down, we're getting less federal money. So that's something that we also have to plan for.
Well, and there's so much, fluidity in what's happening in the federal government in terms of education funding, that we should be concerned about what the next year or two looks like.
So here's the next part that I really wanna talk about. So we have, and we'll look at the total budget and we'll look at our deficit and how we're gonna cover that deficit. Next year, when I say looking at changes 26, 27, we're not necessarily looking to cut next year, but for the 27-28 school year, I wanna say this out loud, the public needs to hear this. We will be looking at cuts. We'll be looking at staffing cuts, because we can no longer give into our reserves and to our fund balance to cover deficits in the budget. So that's something that I need to say out loud, and folks need to be prepared for that. So we plan on being very transparent with the public in that we'll have a series of community meetings, we'll have a series of surveys. We need to hear from the public, what's a priority? What is a priority to you in programming? I know for myself and this board, academics has always been a priority. A lot of our districts, especially districts our size, larger districts like Oneonta and Cooperstown can offer lots of college courses, can offer AP courses. We offer an extreme amount of college courses and AP courses for a district our size. That's been important to us. So those are things that we wanna make sure we consider that we keep. How can we keep them, and what does that look like? Okay, so our priorities and goals, right? So I'm melding in our blueprint for excellence, because it's all is important, and it's how we make our decisions. So I just wanna remind us, we wanna provide experiences and opportunities focused on fostering greater connectivity to community and the world that we live in. Let me give you an example of that. I just visited Max Brampton's broadcasting class today, and he was sitting with a student who was editing their podcast. There's a new podcast episode coming out, and it's about syrup making. And those students are using real world, actual technology that if you were in the broadcast field, you'd be using. It's up-to-date broadcast equipment. How were we able to bring that to our students? That was a grant through the Catskill Mountain Education Corporation. They granted us the money so that we could start that class. And what happened was, now we have a half credit broadcasting class. I've applied for another grant to equip the studio, because what I would love to see is our students to be in there at a newsroom table delivering the news or delivering a podcast. So those are ways which we try to raise revenue so that we can keep some of the programs that we have. Community partnerships will develop a comprehensive program for effective communication and community engagement. So we have an app. We're gonna be really relying on our app next year. So you're gonna see less paper communication. We're going to be educating the community more on the app, because that's important. Facilities and infrastructure will provide an overall school facility and environment that meets 21st century learning, health, safety needs for all students, staff, and the community. So a couple things I wanna talk about here. First of all, we have a major capital project coming up. That's to upgrade our school so that we have efficient heating and cooling, hot water tanks that work. We just had new hot water tanks installed over break, and they're working. And also 21st century learning needs. Think innovation lab, think broadcast studio. All of those things that give our students real world opportunity. But I wanna talk a little bit more about community partnership and community engagement. Right now, we have offered to our students next year, free of charge, an EMS program in partnership with Roxbury Central School, Margaretville Central School, BOCES is helping us with the CTE credentialing, and Margaretville Hospital. So students who enter that program will be able, at the end of the next school year, take their EMS test and be certified EMS. I'm really proud of that. That is almost 2 years in the making.
And it's something that's really needed, I think,
Yes.
to have more time.
Okay, so our educational programs, all students can learn and work independent skills. We have, and it's been going really well, math pre-K through 12 curriculum. Why is that important? Because that's alignment. That's vertical alignment and that's horizontal alignment amongst our team. And then the reading program that Jeremy helped facilitate a few years ago. Okay, so math curriculum, we have new ELA AP courses. We added more this year. We're continuing with STEM education, and I've already mentioned our broadcasting class. I'm really proud that it's a half credit in our EMC program at Margaretville Hospital.
And you also put in a new writing program?
Yeah, the new EL.
That's part
oh,
of that,
that's
part of
great.
that, yeah, that question.
Yeah, so we've got a lot to offer. The object of education is to prepare the young and educate themselves throughout their lives. That's a photo from last year when we visited Dr. Betty Rosa at the New York State Ed Department. Alani was there. Maybe we'll take you girls this next year. I'll try to pull some strings. I don't know if I can, but I will. You guys are going in a couple weeks, right, to the regionalization discussion. So our new ex officio board members will be headed to SUNY Oneonta to talk with students from all over the area and learn about regionalization. And that was the next step in the process because it's so important to have student voice. So I'm excited for you guys for that. Okay, so let's look at the proposed budget for next year. We're looking at an increase of $285,000, so $14,132 and $132,504. So the budget percent increase is 2.06%. So if you look at our 6-year budget percent increase, it's plus 3.45% per year. So what we need to do is catch up. We have been using fund balance, we went out at 0 a few times, and basically we need to just catch up with our growing budget. And the budget is growing for a number of reasons. Fuel costs, utility costs, benefits, salary increases. Okay, so there's just some general questions for people who have questions about the budget and how it works and how it will affect their taxes. So, I don't necessarily have to read all that for you, but, okay, so here's where we are. Current projection, so as of right now, this is the important thing. So we're using less fund balance than last year, but we're only using just under $13,000 less than fund balance. So that needs to stop. So when I tell you that we need to make cuts, we can't continually dip into our fund balance because we'll have no savings. There'll be no rainy day fund. So 1.382 is what we're using this year. So we need to find a way to cut that down. Benefits aren't going away. We offer good benefits, that's not gonna go anywhere. salary increases, those have to occur. We're negotiating contracts right now for our MESPA, unit and our confidential unit. Those need to be competitive so that we can keep staff. So, just as a hypothetical, right? So under these current projections, if we didn't change anything, we'd need to increase our budget by 1.7 million or increase our taxes by 21%. That's not going to happen. Okay? So you need to hear that from me. This is what's going on throughout the region. So all districts will be looking to work together, make cuts. Like I said already, I'm just gonna sort of keep talking about it, ways that we can work with other districts to help with programming. We already share chemistry and physics with Roxbury. What else can we share with Roxbury, or what else with Andy's? Andy's has reached out to me about sharing some cafeteria services. There's some things that we can do as a region to sort of help bring our costs down. But I just needed to say that out loud. You know where we're going. This is the state of the budget. This is the state of New York. This is the state of education right now.
And this does not include reductions that we will see by bringing special education back
Correct.
next year. So that already is a cut, that's
Yep.
a reduction that's planned for. That is, I just want to be clear, it's not reflected in this budget because it hasn't happened yet. So the hope is that we wouldn't, we would.
We've been crunching numbers, we're bringing some students back, so that will cut into that. We're closer to maybe 1 million, but, we're looking at least a minimum. Greg, treasurer, and I talked about this before we met today. We're looking at trying to find $500 million next year and $500 million a year out.
No, 500,000.
500,000. 500,000.
It's
500
500
million.
We are all in your shit.
Sorry, 500,000, next.
I have $1 billion.
Okay.
So-
Here, $1 billion.
We all had a little freak out there, just saying.
Okay, so total budget, there it is, at a glance. 14.1.
So were you thinking of the state budget, which God
Still-
knows when
still
you
hasn't
know?
gone through.
It won't
Were
happen.
you calculating it as the 2% increase, or are you
You
not
calculated on the
anticipating it?
governor's one, right?
Or are you
Yeah.
just going with what?
Governor's one.
Okay.
So we may get a little bump there.
Yeah,
They have approved budget.
Because the legislature is still too, but.
yeah.
Legislature is at
It'd be
2.
lovely to get a budget on time.
Oh, it's too late for that.
You know, to put it in perspective for taxpayers, 1% increase is about almost 82,000, just shy of $82,000, right? So when you look at how our expenses grow and what we have to tax and, generate some revenue, it doesn't.
I mean, given the increase in certain expenses, particularly benefits, to keep our increase at 2%, it's pretty good.
Of the budget, yeah,
Yeah.
budget
Yes,
increase.
it really is. Yeah. So this is just our tax cap calculation, which is 4.21 is the allowed tax cap levy. Okay, and then budget vote. So important that people vote. And that's my presentation.
Questions from the board? No? Okay. Lots to think about.
Well, one other thing we could say right here, that a lot of people don't realize that it's important to have a good number of people vote, because the state counts that in how they rate our school. That's one of the factors, so
Right, getting people to vote is.
we need to have people to come to vote.
Agreed. Okay. We have discussed summer staff development. Have you picked a
Yes.
date?
What day did you say you weren't available?
Doesn't matter.
No,
What
no,
date
what
do you have?
day?
I have Tuesdays. are
Okay,
tough.
perfect. Thursday, April 23rd at 3 p.m. Please?
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I was like, oh my God, did she say Thursday
No,
or
no,
Tuesday?
no.
Okay.
Thursdays, I'm okay.
Perfect.
So Thursday, summer staff development, I need at least, well,
One more.
one more. April 23rd at what time?
Yeah, I've done it in the past, I'd be willing, but if Matt can do it, that's fine with me.
I mean, there's only 2 applications.
There's only 2 applications. I mean, or you two can do it, it's a 15-minute meeting.
You'll do it? Sure. Okay. I'll do it.
Okay.
So Matt and Ken?
If you wanna do it, then I'm
No,
deleting the
Doris
whole.
do it.
Matt and Doris? Okay.
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 What time,
Guys,
tell me.
what this is
We had
teachers
qu-
apply for
we had quite a
money to do
number of
professional
applications
development in the
last
summer.
Yeah, like
And the board needs to
8, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year.
And there's been years where we had like a ton, like 20, like pretty.
Last year we
Well,
had to
also,
do
the
it.
building is not available this year because of our capital project, that might have something to do with it.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah.
Alright, so I will send out calendar events also for that.
Great, that would be fantastic.
Great, thank you.
Hey Doris, just a quick electric bus update
Yeah.
before we move on.
Oh, yeah.
The charger is installed, ready to go.
Woohoo!
We're getting it inspected tomorrow or Friday. Leonard's Bus Company is coming to do the charger, inspection.
Okay, and any word on the bus?
Yeah, so the bus, normally, when the bus is built in Texas, it's driven to Leonard's, and then from Leonard's it's driven here, they couldn't do that. So to ship it, so.
Why?
there's
Let's
a-
back up, why the bus couldn't be driven.
Cause then they'd have to stop and charge it, and have to
Okay,
charge it.
okay.
Yeah.
From Texas.
I was,
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, but they do that with a regular bus.
With a regular bus, they just fill up the gas. I mean,
no, I got that, I thought there was a problem with the bus that it could not be,
No.
you know what I'm
so
saying?
by regulation, I think that they can't turn it over to us until it has 400 miles. So they're actually driving it where we speak. So I was gonna offer to the board if you wanted to go on a field trip, not next week, but the week after. Michelle and I, Paul, are
Okay.
Texas, New York for 400 miles.
yeah,
So you would think you'd have it by the end of the month?
yeah. Well, probably early May, yeah. So we're gonna take a field trip, we're gonna drive it, we're gonna see how the progress is going, cause they have to do a lot of tinkering with it too to make it code in New York also.
Yeah. What does that mean? Cause I just gotta tell you from the outside, that was not confidence building statement.
Which
You're gonna
one?
tinker with it.
That's,
Just
Probably yeah.
throwing out.
Do that if you buy
So
a
it would be
car,
like
car.
crossing arms, it would be write Margaretville Central School
Oh,
on
okay.
it.
yeah.
It would do all the specs that New York State Ed
Okay.
demands of our buses.
Right.
Okay.
Not anything wrong with
Because
it.
it's different from Texas, but every state also has probably different
Yeah, they build
criteria.
a stock model and then each state has their own
Okay.
things that they.
Okay.
Yeah, cameras,
Well, when it was
Pretty tough
tinkering, I'm not sure I know what that means.
Yeah, we're getting rims put on, some like.
Spoiler on the back.
Exhaust, some lift kit, you know, whatever. But
Yeah, you should pick another word besides tinkering, just saying. Because that was a
I'm
little,
new to transportation, Doris.
that was a little like, what is wrong with my bus that you're gonna have to tinker with it?
Anyone wanna go on a field trip?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll send you guys an
Am
email.
I allowed to comment
Yeah, go ahead.
currently?
Not really, but yes.
Oh.
Go ahead, no, no.
As just a person of the public, and I mean, you know, a couple months I'll be done, but just public wise, we get negative 20-degree weather up here. Who's going up on top of that mountain when that electric bus breaks down?
No,
That's
I-
my
I-
question.
That
That is my question.
We have an answer for that question.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
so here's the thing, we get the bus, it doesn't start, that's data.
Yeah.
So you may have heard us talk
Okay,
about a waiver, and
Yeah.
so the state is saying we have to do this.
Right.
Let me tell you, we signed up for the grant to get the bus so that we could present data.
Right.
That might be positive data about
Might be
buses.
negative, yeah.
It
Could
might
be
be
negative.
negative data about
And-
buses.
And we got, there were 2 grants. One grant came from the there was a federal government grant, and you put your name in, and it was like a lottery. So we
Oh,
just
wow.
got lucky that our
Wow.
name got picked.
Wow.
And they're
Okay.
giving us a $400,000 bus. They're just like, here, you can have this.
And the charger and everything.
And then, yes,
Wow.
and then it didn't quite cover everything, so the small piece that wasn't covered, we got a nice NYSERDA grant, which covered the charger, the installation, and the software for the data collection, correct? Right? We have
Everything
software.
is there.
Yeah, everything's there. So we will be able, we hope not, but anticipate the possibility that there will be issues. But then, when we look at that waiver a year from now, we'll be able to say, we as a district need a waiver because this bus didn't start on 37 days.
Or it worked for certain runs of this distance,
but
but
not that.
we couldn't go to
It might
Hunter
work
Tannersville
like
for a
short
game and
run
back.
or, you know,
You know.
So it will allow us, and not only will it allow us, but I would anticipate this is data that we could share with our neighbors.
Right.
So,
And consequently, we reached out to Downsville, who
Downsville has a
has
small bus, they have a small electric bus they bought, and they like it. They're very happy with it and they've used it very successfully,
But that's one bus.
but that's one bus in Downsville. And I
was
don't
just-
mean that badly, but I'm
That's a
not
good
sure
question.
that.
I was just curious.
I'd love to ask that question because we need to keep answering it so the public
Right.
hears.
Yes.
No, it's
So-
great, yeah.
So our hope was that we would get this data that, you know, truthfully, it's not just for us, but hopefully we can share that data with a Roxbury or Andes who are looking at very similar terrain and distances and say this will or won't work for people.
But unfortunately, they're looking at a federal environment in which there probably won't be any grants like we got.
No,
For
they would
this.
have to buy, but at
So-
least if they were applying for a waiver.
We got, I'm glad we did it when we
We
did.
were very
because
lucky.
we might, there may not be any of those kind of grants in the future, the next couple of years
And as I
at least.
say, it was really luck.
That is wow. That is
Yeah.
the fact that it was a lottery and you
It
guys
was a
got
lottery
picked. I
type
mean, that
deal.
is something
Yeah.
else.
Crazy, actually.
Yeah.
It's not like we made our case and somebody said, oh,
Right,
let's help
exactly.
poor Margaretville. No, everybody just sort of went into this pool and
Yeah, we got lucky.
And
they picked us.
to take another point of view, I don't like the negativity. We have done a lot of research.
Oh, yeah.
All of us on this board who've been around for a while have gone to symposiums
Yeah.
with people giving testimony and information, and I have full faith that it's gonna work out quite well. So,
And it wouldn't be the first time he proved me wrong,
Everybody's got different viewpoints.
right? So we'll see what happens. So it'll be
Yeah, we'll
exciting to see what happens. But we have not made any financial contribution to this experiment.
Right.
So that's a really exciting place to be in.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I wanna add, I mean, to some of the positivity of it too, is going for that initial test drive of it, taking a look at the bus itself. The ride is a lot quieter. I think you're gonna allow, bus management is gonna be a lot easier for the bus drivers as well on this, especially going up Margaretville Mountain Road. Those diesels will scream going up those.
Yes, they do.
This thing just hums, and boy, it has more power than those diesels do to get up Margaretville Mountain Road in this type of condition.
Yeah.
But I also wanna say that I will always say this, is that the decision to get an electric bus was based off of a state regulation. It
Right.
was not based off of a program that was developed here in-house by Margaretville Central.
Yes, I did hear that it was state driven about it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people get that kind of confused, whether you're for it or against it, or in the middle of it. We are following what we are being told to do,
Right.
right? So-
Exactly.
Which we're not anti-electric bus, by the way. I just, you know, we tease about it not working or whatever, but I don't
And
mean,
it's
here's
difficult
the,
in
here's,
our,
Yeah.
like, situation.
yes.
It's
I just wish that my greatest objection is to the state creating a mandate that covers the entire state,
Right.
that really, our regions are very, very different.
Yes.
The distances traveled by districts on Long Island is very, very small. Like,
Right.
and some of them are smaller than others, like some of them, you go to Oyster Bay, it's a tiny district. And there's no mountains.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's just kind of a blanket, it doesn't allow for.
yes,
Right.
and so I wish that they were allowing more
Exactly.
decisions to be made locally.
Yeah.
I think that like it puts you guys in a really difficult position when the federal government is putting cuts on our budget. And then on
You
top
think?
of that, you guys have to, come up with funds for new electric
Exactly.
buses.
It costs 3 times the amount of the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's important that people know
Right.
like that it's not from you guys
No.
and that this is.
I mean, I do believe in the long run, in the next 25 years, we are gonna be using all electric buses, and the technology will allow that. I don't think by 2035, we're gonna be doing that.
Right.
That's the
And
problem.
at some point, I hope the state government figures that out.
Yeah, I think it's fine as long as you get like the money from the federal government because
Yes,
we
or
don't
the
have
state
that.
government.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
state government,
Somebody's
we
gonna
don't, we don't
pay.
have that, we're expected, you know.
Or the prices of these buses.
This has to
Yeah.
go
Have
away
to
now.
cover the,
Yeah.
Well,
They have to.
So
and I mean, it's look at the putting- price of yeah. diesel right now, $6 a
I know,
gallon.
crazy, isn't it?
The people who, I'm,
But look at the
I'm
price
very
of
thankful
electric,
that I
I
don't
mean,
have
I
it.
think we're all concerned if we had to plug in buses, what do our electric bills look like? Like, it's
Exactly.
it's an issue.
Yeah.
Or, as you say, you wonder why the budget's busted, running buses, it's crazy.
And I feel like also the problem with it being the full state is that, like you said, Long Island short distances, but also, I mean, vehicles up here might not get as beaten up, or they might get more beaten up
Yep.
than vehicles closer to the city
Yep.
because, you know, it's up.
in the mountains.
Yeah, we're in the
Different-
mountains.
yeah, It's a whole different world.
It takes a toll on the
Different
vehicles.
situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have they met closed hollow yet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I'll happily send the governor an invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
I mean, I was at a workshop on electric buses where there were people from, I don't even know what school district, in the Adirondacks, where they had 100-mile long bus routes that were completely impossible to do on one charge. So,
Right, they had to recharge.
what do you do? You know?
crazy.
So, something will have to change, I'm not sure exactly what it'll be or when, but,
So, we keep plugging along,
Yeah.
but that's a BS sample case. Okay,
all right.
can I have a motion to approve the appointment of bus aide Yuritsi Robles?
I'll make that motion.
I second that.
Questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have, can I have a motion to approve the resignation of District Treasurer Gay Weir?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
That was
Can we
with
say
regret.
nice things about you now?
We've been very lucky to have Greg for all this time.
We have,
Thank you.
and we are very sad to unfortunately accept your resignation, but we do hope you're feeling better. And, we just want to know that you've been that steady, trustworthy, guru of finance that has really served us very well, shaped our district.
Thank you for everything you do.
So we will miss you.
It's about yours.
Yep, we will miss you. We're really not letting you go that far now. We'll still be calling you.
Yeah,
Okay. But we will miss you deeply, just so you know that. All in favor? Aye.
People with a bat phone will have a break.
We'll have a great call, right? Can I have a motion to approve Jared Hubble as a volunteer coaching assistant for the modified girls softball for the 25-26 school year?
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, we should have spoken, we have had so many people come to volunteer and help our, athletic teams. This
Yes.
is over the last year that it's really, and it's been amazing, and we are so incredibly grateful.
Do they do the
And I think we're
background
doing
checks
better
and stuff for
softball
people?
wise.
Wait, I'm sorry, Tara, I couldn't hear a word you said.
Do they do like the background checks and all that
Yes,
stuff
they have
for
to be
all the people that are
fingerprinted,
volunteers?
yep,
Yeah, it's connected to the agenda, it's right on there,
Okay.
Yep.
public knowledge.
Can I have a motion to act on the 26-27 budget in the amount of $14,132,504?
I make that motion.
I second.
Questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to act on the real property tax report card?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Questions or concerns? I don't know how we'll ever figure it out without you. All in favor? Aye. Can I have a motion to act on the 26-27 property tax levy in the amount of $8,513,767?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I have a motion to act on the ONC BOCES administrative budget for the 26-27 school year?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Just so you know, cause I did a summary of it, it does show a 5.59 increase in their administrative budget, so I just, you know, we kind of locked into if we want services for BOCES approving their budget, but, you know, compared to your 2.6, I want you to know they're going out with a 5.59.
The shocking thing to me in going through that budget was how large their retiree benefits
Yes.
is.
Yep.
It's like
Yeah.
$2.5–3 million
Yep.
of their budget is for retiree benefits.
$2,132,504. $187,440 is their retiree health benefit. So, yeah.
It's,
And they say if they could exclude that from their growth, the budget would only go up about 0.5%.
that's,
Amazing.
that's
what
the
you call
growth factor.
legacy costs.
Yeah,
So I just, since we were talking about costs and how benefits are pushing the costs, I wanted to be clear that that's
that's the big,
it.
You wanna know a little fact?
Yeah.
I was the first person to ask for a buyout,
Really?
cause I said, I
I
don't
remember
need
you
it.
telling me that.
We have all these people that don't need this health insurance.
Yep.
And they fought with me and I finally said, I'll take $25,000, which is like 1 year.
Yep, and I'll
They
go.
finally said, I guess we'll agree to that, but that's really too high. And I'm thinking, if I would have done that for the rest of my life, how
Yes.
much you would have paid? They had no consideration. They just said 25
weren't
seems
thinking.
too big.
Oh, that's.
wow.
Isn't
So
that
how many
crazy?
people out there today with veterans and all the rest that have that benefit? But
Yeah.
it took me almost a year before I retired to get that benefit.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. You
That was
thought they would've
you
snapped
gave them a
15.
gift.
I gave them a huge gift.
Yeah.
But I gave everybody in the future a gift because they weren't allowing it, so I just said, I'll just sacrifice the money, cause it didn't really matter to me, for the sons, cause I already have health insurance. That everybody in the future who doesn't need it could at least get some kind of compensation versus just saying, no, I just don't want the insurance.
It's just, yeah, so it's
Mind-boggling.
a huge burden on them.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to point some of that out, because as we look at ours, I wanted to understand what's happening in other budgets. Okay, all in favor? Can we act on can I have a motion to approve the 3 vacancies, to vote for the 3 people for the vacancies on the BOCES board, Elizabeth Fallow, Rebecca Garrison, and Timothy Johnson?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
One of them's out of Jefferson, one of them's out of
One's from Cooperstown.
Cooperstown, and one is out of, was it Charlotte Valley? Anyway,
I thought this was our,
we didn't have anybody to run.
Yeah, we didn't have anybody.
oh, I see,
We could have put somebody up this year with, cause
Oh, I
Kurt is
see.
stepping down, but,
right,
we just didn't have anybody who
nobody,
could.
nobody wanted.
Part of the problem with BOCES is because of the timing of their meetings. They're right smack in the middle of the day. 90%
And here
is,
and there too,
Yes.
Jefferson, Charlotte Valley, and Cooperstown.
I live there. They're often in the middle of the day, and most of them are up in like, Milford, like, so it's very difficult to find people who,
Yeah.
It'd be anywhere
Actually-
between like 1 and 4 p.m.
Oh.
yes, and their meetings, by the way, are often 3+ hours. So it just was hard to find anybody from this area who was.
When I first saw Timothy Johnson there, I thought, oh, we did find
No.
somebody.
Yeah.
We do have one in our
Yes,
district,
but
but
that's fine.
wasn't that one.
I'd just like to point out, I'm on the board for BOCES, I'm their student board member
Yeah.
along
Oh,
with
great.
another girl. And that's a big problem because they're usually at like 1:30, they're right in the middle of the day, and most of them are at Milford, so it's like, or a different BOCES, cause it's
Wow.
like, it'll go
Wow.
Grand Gorge, it'll go NCOC, and then it'll be like Milford and like BOCES far, far away, and then it's us again. So it's kinda,
It's very difficult.
it is difficult, and it's difficult for us because we
It's a day
can't
for
really, we can't really make those meetings. And the Milford side, they're not as up to date as we are, so it's hard. And it's like,
It's a huge issue.
it is. Yeah.
So they did find people who were willing to do it. Kudos to them.
But do people show up? Do other people show
Yeah,
up?
yeah, we have we have our board, and then there's usually 2 to 3 people in the audience. But I feel like more, if
I
we
mean,
could-
but the board members show up.
oh yes, yeah, yes, they're usually all there. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the FCCLA Summer Leadership Overnight Trip to SUNY Oneonta on July 27th?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
And kudos to you for planning ahead. Just saying.
Well, I know overnight is,
Yes.
even though it's less than 100 miles,
It's an
but it's an overnight,
Yep.
and,
Just wanna say.
I won't know for a while still which kids will go, if we'll need the male chaperone thing, but, we can get into those later details. when
Yes,
it's closer.
we're okay with that. We trust that you can work that out with Mrs. Holden and Mrs. Osterhout. You know what you need to do.
Great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the LGBTU Summit Field Trip to Queens College on April 24th? I need a motion to put this on the table.
I move that we do that.
I'll second that.
And I just wanna say, this is late because it was a late addition to the calendar and it was something new. they kind of fumbled the fact that it was 100 miles, so it needed board
Yeah.
approval. So it is later than we would normally do for an approval.
Right.
That's why. So usually I'm the one going, we're not doing this, cause it's not in the right time frame.
Right.
But, I felt it was important that as a new event, we didn't obstruct
So
it.
I had one question, it said 10 students, does that mean 10 have agreed to go, or that's the number?
Is that the pool they're choosing from?
I don't know.
And
But-
10 of us are on the list to attend.
Yeah, there you sure is.
10 are?
Yep.
Great.
Cool.
So,
No, I
yeah.
think it's great.
So I just, yeah, it's a really interesting program. I've read a bunch of programs. It was a very interesting program. I just, normally I'm the one going, this isn't dirty,
Yeah.
But
Well, and it's a new
was
organization
new, yes,
applying
it was-
for this too.
there were a
so
lot of
it takes a
fumbles
while.
on the timing on that. So I, apologies to my board that it's later and I said, yeah, go ahead and put it on the agenda, so I hope that's not a problem.
What does that stand for, Doris?
I don't know. Is it lesbian, gay, bi, teens?
Lesbian, gay, bi, trans.
Trans, okay, that's what it stands for. And it does leadership and anti-bullying and, I forget, I looked it up, so I have
Inclusion, I'm sure.
diversity
Diversity and inclusion.
and inclusion and advocacy. I think that's a wonderful thing.
It's our first field trip as a QSA club, because we're really new.
Yeah,
Well, very
so,
And it's doing training.
yes, it's
Essentially,
training on
yeah.
advocacy,
Right.
leadership,
Right.
anti-bullying.
Great.
Yeah, it's a educational type summit. So,
And do you know, are there gonna be groups from all over the state at this, or?
I
Is it
think
more regional?
so. I can ask our advisor that question and I can
Sounds good.
email you the answer.
I
It's a
would
great
assume
thing.
so, because it's like it's a big summit in the city, so
Yeah.
I believe everybody's kind of meeting.
yeah, I may not be from Western New York, but I'm
Yeah,
assuming you get
but-
people Long Island, New York City,
That's right.
Westchester, whatever. And we hope that you'll come back with some info on that next
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the 6th grade field trip to the American Museum of Natural History in New York City?
I'll make
For me.
I second that.
We love these field trips, Jeremy, just saying.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I just wanna say, it's been something that, Mr. Marks has really pushed, is to have a signature field trip for, almost all of the elementary grade levels, maybe not first and second, but the others. And I think this is new for 6th grade, and it's just a wonderful way for kids to have something to look forward to every year and to have like a key or capstone type event, so.
Well, and it's a great museum.
It's a
to go
great
to.
So it's
museum.
marvelous.
I just,
I remember when I went for the first time and like
Yeah.
unforgettable memories.
Right.
So much fun.
so kudos to you, we appreciate that kids get out and see some really
We'll have
exciting.
2nd through 6th covered after this.
Okay, so I couldn't remember how low you, I couldn't remember, did they go to
Second
the
grade,
zoo?
second grade's Bronx Zoo, 3rd and 4th is the Statue of Liberty, 5th grade is the Green Connection one,
Oh,
which
right,
Linda Pesha does that one, and then 6th grade this one.
So it's just,
that's great.
we appreciate it.
What was the second grade one?
Bronx Zoo.
Yeah, it's really cool. That's a fun one too, yeah, and just, whatever. Okay, I guess we're on to, do we have any other comments from the community?
I had a question. There's a bunch of area schools, I think there's 5 of them, that were posting that they were doing surveys about mergers and getting community feedback. How come Margaretville's not involved in that?
Do you want me to do it?
I can both answer.
Okay, so it's a very specific study through a grant program with some very specific parameters, that we didn't, Mrs. Osterhout didn't feel really met what we were trying to do. So like the merger is only Jefferson and Stamford, the other districts are not, that's a separate part of that study. So it's not every district what mergers look like, it's only Jefferson and Stamford. And it was, many of the schools were outside ones that were reasonably, we could travel to. So it really just was not a study that we felt met our needs. Instead, we've taken the approach, we literally met with Roxbury last week to begin to talk about how, on a more individualized basis, we could work with them. Mrs. Osterhout recently met with Andy's, how we could, so it's just sort of a different approach. And there's some concern with even within those schools, like how is this study meet this very diverse need of these different schools? So we just didn't think it was the best
Yeah.
use of our time, our energies, our funds.
Yeah, there's a misconception about we weren't included, it's not appropriate for us. So like an optimization study, that's how do you optimize working with the school district? I'm doing that with Roxbury, I'm doing that with Andes, so it didn't
Well,
pertain to us.
Roxbury was included with all that stuff too,
Yeah.
so that's why I was like, how
Because
come
they're closer
Margaretville
to
was the
Stanford.
only
Well,
one?
Well,
Like, it
no,
was-
they're working with Gilboa, so we can't work with Gilboa because it's not in our region. So
Like it doesn't meet, you know, so,
there's criteria, so for mergers or optimization studies, like you have to be border.
contiguous.
Contiguous, so the
Okay.
the properties have to meet, so for that reason alone, we wouldn't even qualify for that study.
It just didn't really fit, but it doesn't mean we're not, as I say, we met with some people from Roxbury last week, and she's meeting with Andes, and we have some other thing, you know, I know you have some other things in the works, the
Yeah, to have
CTE
shared
course,
services
yeah.
and stuff.
I know Mr. Marks has met with some area schools about, you know, sharing some transportation things, like, there's a whole bunch of things. It was just that particular study, and the only merger, we just had this conversation, the only merger, although they made it sound like everybody was looking at merger, the only two schools that are actually doing the merger study piece of it are Jefferson and
Yeah,
Stanford.
cause they didn't make that clear, they just
I know,
said
yeah.
all those 5 schools were talking about mergers and stuff, I'm like, well, why isn't Margaretville, even if,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just part of the discussion to kinda, you know,
Yes.
plan ahead kinda thing.
and that was sort of, if that's what they were doing, we might have done it, but that's not what they're doing.
Yeah,
And I think it's important to note, like, we talk a lot about regionalization, so actually, I was at Cabinet yesterday, and we talked about regionalization, we talk about it all the time amongst the districts. So there's things that we're doing, there's gonna be a retreat this summer with superintendents and board members will be welcome to attend to see what we're doing. I mentioned earlier in the meeting that, Mackenzie and Lillian are gonna be going to the, summit, I don't know if you wanna call it a summit, but there's a regionalization meeting, to talk about how the school districts, just to bring more stakeholders in. So as we move through next year and the year after, you'll see more community involvement, more student involvement, all of that sort of coming into play. So I think it's important that the community hear that we're doing that work, we're having those conversations. We're not in that study because it's not appropriate for us, but thank you for asking that, because I think you had asked me that in the beginning of the meeting, because we saw there's some stuff on
And the
Facebook.
problem
And it's,
is we're not, as the community members, we're not seeing or hearing any of this stuff, so we're like, what's going on, how come?
Well, I mean, I think we are, we've talked about the, you know, the sharing of a science teacher at multiple meetings, we've talked about. So as they're coming up, we're rolling them out. I mean, maybe we should make a list, but, you know, we rolled some of those things out as they've come up. The CTE course, which was just announced, that was just finished
Maybe
last
some good
week.
things to put on the app too, cause lately you don't see much on the app at all. And, I mean, not even like the updates for athletics. I actually had to email the coach and say, well, the kids are coming home saying there's no game tomorrow, is that correct? And the coach said, oh, I forgot to post about that,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay,
So
good
there's
point.
gotta be that more communication to,
Yeah.
Maybe the communications committee could put like a list of like regionalization, things that we've already implemented, like with the science and stuff. Is that it? Maybe.
Well, I think we've tried to do a better job too over the last month or so to generate some press.
there's been a lot of press releases, yeah.
So I think we're trying to do that as well. So hopefully that fills a piece of the gap, not the
are
full
you
gap.
saying like presses and in the newspaper?
Mm-hmm.
Cause not everybody reads the newspaper.
No, I'm not saying
No,
that's
we
the
know
be all
that.
and end all. We're just saying it's one piece of what we're doing.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay. Future business. April 17th will be the end of the third quarter. April 30th
I
is
think this date is incorrect,
the 30th.
or at least, if that's the date of the concert, Mrs. Tucker ought to be told.
I think it's.
Cause
I
she
thought
gave
they
it
said
to me
it was
for
the
May
fifth.
sixth.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it's May 6th.
All right.
And they changed it again?
Hold on.
All right. May 6th,
May
the 4th
6th.
through 12th grade spring vocal concert. May
Yes,
5th.
May sixth, yep.
May 5th is the budget hearing and the presentation of the revamped Blueprint for Excellence. May 8th and 9th, NISMA, it's vocal, right, Alani? Vocal?
Band,
And I don't,
and bands.
Oh, it's bands as well, okay.
band that vocal.
Vocal and bands
But
solo.
I'm not sure it's
excellence.
gonna be both those days, usually they schedule all the kids
Okay.
from one school on one day so that they.
One of
all
those
get
2
together.
days. May 12th is not the Blueprint for Excellence that you have on here. May 14th, Collaboration Day, all students dismissed at 11:30. May 19th is budget vote, 2 to 8 p.m. in the cafeteria. May 20th is the next Board of Education meeting, and you said your next communication meeting is June 2nd. 4 p.m.
And if people wanna have it on our next policy committee meeting is April 21st, 3:15.
Okay, April 21st, 3:15. Teacher, for policy. Can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss a specific personnel issue?
Make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is it about Jeremy?
Yeah. He doesn't know that yet, so I can't believe
Well, we
it's
got